Hi, David.
What's up?
Did you attend the finance class today?
Yeah.
I thought it was really helpful and interesting. Credit scores make so much more sense now. Do you know what your credit score is?
I think it's like over 9,000 or something.
I don't think you I don't think you know what a credit score is. Let me explain it to you. And you, stay tuned. What's up, everybody? My name's David. Credit scores. Love them, hate them, we gotta have them. To put it simply, a credit score is a rating of how you handle debt and the likelihood of you paying off the debt. Also, you just don't have one credit score. You have three. These credit scores are made by the three main companies, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. These scores are generally close to one another, but when you're applying for a loan, they'll base it off of a kind of combination of these three scores. It's like a GPA. A GPA is not based off of just one class's grade, it's based off of multiple classes' grades. Basically, that's what your credit score is like too. From my experience and research, these are the 5 main factors that affect your credit score. Also, I'll share tips of how I improved my credit score to over 800. For the first one, payment history. It's pretty simple and easy to understand. Your payment history is a historical reference of how well you're able to pay off your debt on time. Your payment history is going to be your main factor for your credit score, roughly 35%. If you're making payments, either pay before or on your payment date. You can't pay after. Any payments that are made after your payment date are going to negatively affect your credit score. I recommend that you use your automatic payment. Make sure that you have the funds available. For my preference, I usually do a few days before the payment date, just in case if there's any technical issues. It gives me a buffer so I don't get hit with that negative effect for a missed payment or a late payment. By doing that, you're able to have a few days before your payment date and contact your lender to see if there's any issues or things you can do to resolve your issues. Factor 2, utilization. Utilization is a ratio between your outstanding debt over your total debt. For example, if you have a credit card with a limit of $1,000 and you borrow $1,000, that's 100% utilization. So the recommendation is roughly 30%. So in this case, you just want to spend at max $300. For utilization, this mainly deals with your credit cards and then your line of credit. Between payment history and utilization, it represents half your credit score, or 65%. Now, I know it's hard that you want to use your credit card for all your purchases for potential reward points, but what you want to do is do a mix between credit cards and cash or debit cards. Between payment history and utilization, I think it's a lot harder for us to be more disciplined when we're trying to buy something. So just keep in mind either using your budget apps or just mental notes in your head that you're not overspending, because this one is going to be a drastic effect towards your credit score. So just try to keep in mind that you want to spend within your means and spend less usually. The third factor is length of credit history. Like payment history, it's pretty simple. The length of your credit card history is basically how old your debt are. The main takeaway for this factor is that you want to show that you're able to hold on credit for a long period of time while making payment. Like when you're interviewing, the interviewer will probably ask you, how long have you been with your current employer? And if your answer is really short, 2-3 months, they're probably going to ask you why. Credit card history is the same way. If you have a lot of new loans, it hasn't proved that you're very responsible for the debt yet. For this factor, you're just going to be patient. And if you're young or your credit score is low, you want to be able to use more cash and less credit. And as you get your credit score to go up higher, use more credit and then less cash. So it's a good relationship, just keep in mind. Also, if you're constantly borrowing or applying for loans, this next factor is about you. Factor number 4, new debt. For this factor, it's going to be the exact opposite of the one before. This factor is going to be mainly looking at your debt that you applied for in the last couple months. It includes applying for credit cards, car loans, and mortgages. So if you purchase a car and apply for a car loan earlier on in the year and then you crashed it or got into an accident and then had to buy another car, that means you got to apply for another loan, and that's going to affect your credit score again. Whether it's credit cards, cars, or mortgages, you want to make sure that it's inconsistent. You don't want to be always applying for the same thing twice within a year or within years. To wrap it up, these credit agencies aren't looking the same way. There's different types of inquiries. Before the last factor, don't forget to like and subscribe if you find this information useful. Alright, back to the show. Factor number 5, types of inquiries. So there's 2 types of inquiries, hard and soft. The main difference is what's deemed as necessary and unnecessary. 4 is soft inquiry. It consists of cars, mortgages, utilities. So these are things that you are going to need. A lot of people are not going to have $20,000 or $200,000 for a car or a house. So these types of inquiries are deemed as soft, so they're not going to last on your credit score as long. A couple months at most. To summarize, soft inquiries are going to show up on your credit score for just a few months as long as you're not requesting for more loans or applying for more credits. For hard inquiries, they're going to last for a lot longer. I know there's a lot of factors and new concepts to understand, so feel free to rewatch or comment down below if you have any questions and I'll answer them. And now I'm going to explain some tips and habits that I did in order to get a credit score over 800. Tip number 1, keep your utilization under 30%. I'll admit, when I first started borrowing for different lenders, 30% was in my mind. I actually spent a lot, and that's pretty bad. I remember one time that I looked at my credit card statement and noticed that I spent 1 month's worth salary in that month. Pretty stupid, yeah. It's easier said than done, but what I did to kind of remediate that was that I actually spent less. So if you earn a certain amount, just try to spend less and make sure you're only borrowing 30% of what's available. Number 2, don't apply for credit or loans together. For the factor of new debt, these credit agencies are looking at within a short period of time of how often you're applying for. So the idea is that you're not applying for a credit card and then another credit card or even a car loan within, say, 6 months. My general approach is that I don't apply for anything within a year, sometimes even 18 months. Things happen. Either your car breaks down or your roof leaks. Try to remedy these with other solutions. To fight against this, you should pay with cash or find other alternatives, like using Uber, Lyft, renting. Number 3, have a good mix of debt. Now, when I say this, I don't want everyone to just start applying for the newest credit cards or car loans. So this should be done slowly. So keep in mind what I said before in terms of the factors with the tips that I just mentioned. It wasn't until that I actually purchased my car and applied for different types of credit cards where I actually saw my score go up. And I want to stress again that I didn't have them within a year of each other. There could be years in between. And I can't stress this enough. It's not that I bought a car and I applied for a credit card each year. Sometimes it was years between me purchasing a car and applying for a credit card. So keep in mind, you gotta apply for what you need and not what you want. Tip number 4, be patient. Rome wasn't built in a day, nor was it a credit score. I admit, building your credit score up or working these habits, both of them are challenging, but you have to be patient. I've been working to build my credit and these habits since high school and after college. At first, it was really hard and challenging, but by being persistent and consistent, you're able to build these changes and then it becomes your lifestyle. Thank you everyone for watching. Keep in mind the factors I said before, along with the tips. And if you thought this video was helpful or useful to you, make sure that you like, comment, share. Thank you everyone. Take care.